Hello, I'm Sergeant First Class Thomas Enochian, and this is the mallet portion of our video. This section will cover various techniques used on keyboard instruments. I will cover the 5 primary mallet instruments used in both concert band and orchestral repertoire: the marimba, xylophone, chimes, vibraphone, and bells. The marimba is the perfect instrument to start with. First, it has the largest octave range of any keyboard instrument, and second, it can be used to demonstrate both 2 and 4 mallet technique. And finally, since it is the largest of the keyboard instruments, you will find that it is much easier to transfer the skills discussed from a larger to a smaller keyboard instrument. Let's begin our marimba discussion with the understanding that you, the student, can read both treble and bass clef. If there is any doubt in your mind that you do not have this skill, please speak with your music director. And to the music directors watching, I strongly encourage you to teach your percussion students from a very early age the ability to read notes and rhythms. Remember that if you start training your percussion students from a very early age to become complete musicians, the results for you and your ensemble will be well worth the effort. The marimba is made of rosewood or synthetic bars and aluminum or brass resonators. The instrument has a range from 4 to 5 octaves. Since the sound we produce on all percussion instruments is a result of the mallet or stick we choose and the way we strike the instrument, let's begin with mallet selection. Most of our mallet choices for the marimba are going to consist of varying grades of yarn or rubber, and the shaft is generally either rattan or birch. Never use plastic or brass mallets on the marimba. You will damage the bars. Once we have determined which mallets to use, let's discuss how to hold the mallets. The grip we use is similar to match grip on snare drum. We hold the mallets loosely between the thumb and first joint of the index finger to create our fulcrum. Let the other 3 fingers wrap around the mallet lightly, not to inhibit the movement of the mallet. Remember that everyone's hand and finger sizes are very different, and you may find that you have to adjust your fulcrum to meet the needs of your hand. Face your palms downward and make sure that both your left and right hand have an identical grip. Although the keyboard grip is similar to snare drum, the striking response is very different. On snare drum, the tension of the head will allow the stick to rebound to its starting point, but on the keyboard, there is little to no rebound. In order to get the mallet back to the starting point, we must use our wrist. Since there is no rebound, wrist strokes are essential to great 2-mallet keyboard playing. Practice all your major scales in 1 or 2 octaves, or use the whole range of the instrument, especially when working with the marimba. This will allow you to work on moving up and down the instrument and on shuffling your feet. You want to familiarize yourself with the location of every bar and accustom yourself to the wide range of the instrument. Here are some examples. Scales don't always have to start at the bottom and go up. You can start at the top and come down. Listen. To add a variety to your warm-ups, you can play scales in different rhythms. Listen to this example. You really know your scales when you can go through them continually without stopping. Check this out. You can extend your warm-ups to include thirds and arpeggios. As you increase the speed of an exercise, lower your mallet to about 1 inch from the bar. This minimizes the distance between the mallet and the bar and increases your accuracy. Also shift from playing accidental slightly off center to playing on the end of the bar that is located directly above the natural notes. Now that we have developed some basic 2-mallet skills, Let's cover one more topic before we move on to four-mallet playing. Let's discuss how and why we perform rolls. Rolls on percussion instruments are used to sustain the note. Percussionists do not have the same ability as brass or woodwind players to extend the length of sound by allowing air to pass through our instrument. So we replace the air circulation with an alternating hand movement known as a roll to sustain the sound of an instrument. Place your right mallet off center, closer to your body side of the bar, and hold your left mallet horizontal to your right mallet slightly off center, closer to the accidental side of the bar, and alternate moving your mallets. Strive for a roll speed that will allow you to sustain the pitch while working for a consistent sound between your hands. This is known as a single-stroke roll, and this technique can be used to roll on all the keyboard instruments. Practice your major scales with a solid roll to connect all the notes, and then a slightly separated roll between notes. Now that we have talked about the techniques for two mallets, let's continue our conversation and discuss the four-mallet technique. There are other four-mallet techniques, but the most common is called the Stevens grip. I find that with most of the four-mallet parts that you will encounter throughout your band and orchestra experience, the Stevens grip will provide you with the maximum ability to expand and contract your mallet.